Welcome to another episode of the Black One Podcast, the place where we talk about all your favourite black movies, TV series and the celebrities within them. This is DJ Marx and welcome to everyone now listening in. If you haven't already, subscribe to this podcast by going to iTunes or Spotify, and also do the same on Instagram and YouTube. Just search Black One Podcast or Black One's Pod and you'll get all the latest updates. So today I'm joined by my guest Lady T, and we're going to be talking about the 2002 movie Brown Sugar.
Congratulations.
I think you got another hit on your hands.
Oh, yeah.
I met this girl when I was 10 years old.
And what I love most, she has so much soul.
That song reminded me of us.
Yeah. I remember the exact day I met Dre and fell in love with the music.
Oh, look, y'all, look what they doing over there.
And as we grew up, the music grew with us.
Feel that way.
Let me guess, newlyweds, right?
Please, we are just friends.
Please. Why you have to say it like that?
So like I was saying, guys, I'm joined by Lady T, who is a fantastic radio presenter, event host, interviewer. Have I missed any titles, T? Rapper, celebrity, Miss Congeniality.
Do you know what? That's a new Miss Congeniality. Like, that one I never. That's the first time someone said that. But I think everything else is cool. But that's a new one. I'm adding that to the list, to be honest. So yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, guys, we're gonna be talking about, like I said, Brown Sugar today. So you know, T, let's get into it straight, man. I mean, to tell the truth, before we even break it down, what is your initial thoughts about the movie?
So it was my first time watching the movie because I'd never seen it before.
Okay.
And one of my housemate was actually ribbing me. She was like, "How come you've not seen it?" I'm like,
for real, why have you not seen it?
Yeah, she said, because I haven't. She's like, and then she kept naming other films as well, and I'm like, no. She goes, "What is wrong with you?" I'm like,
you know, I'm
no,
with her. I'm with her. One of my friends said to me the other day, "I'm not seeing Black Panther yet." I just feel to disown you right now. Like, how have you not seen Black Panther?
So that one, yo, like, I'm even if I did that, that would be very silly of me. But no, Black Panther, come on, man, you got to see. You have to see. But so what did I think of it? Brown Sugar. It was. Do you know what? It was really nice. It was very lighthearted. Obviously romantic in the sense. And it was nice to see how a relationship developed, but like not being able to tell that person how you really feel.
Yeah.
Which kind of happens in relationships nowadays, you know, like you're really, really good friends, but then one person's caught feelings. What do you say? There's an unspoken rule. Like, what do you do? So, but yeah, I liked it. It was a good pace. I don't think it dragged. I think it was it was a decent space. Although half the time I wanted to knock the head of Taye Diggs' character at times. And I'm just like, dude. But yeah, it was crazy like that, yeah. I mean, to tell the truth, I felt the same about Taye, as well as the what's the name that played Sydney as well. It's like, I thought, come on, both of you, just fix up, man. I mean, from the very beginning for me, regardless of what they said, I knew that they both liked each other, regardless of who they were with, where they were going. I can kind of tell from the beginning, yeah, you guys have kind of got feelings, you just haven't admitted it to yourselves yet, but they're obviously there. Yeah, absolutely. Like it was from the get. Was it from the get go? I don't think it was. I think when I kind of sussed that she kind of like had feelings for me when they were when he was in the boardroom and she called him. Yeah. And then he put her on speaker in front of everybody, and I was just like, there's something going on here. Like I feel like it's like he didn't see it, but she clearly was feeling something for the guy, but obviously had to hold back a little bit and just try and style it out and whatnot. So that was pretty funny. But for me, the bit that really shook me and I nearly dashed my shoe like at the screen was when like he actually went through with the marriage. I'm like,
listen,
like,
listen, we're gonna get to that part. Because we got so much more stuff to cover even before we even get there. But yeah, I'm with you 100%. I mean, to tell the truth, even like what you're saying that he didn't know. I think maybe that's because later on in the film, he actually says that there was one point where, no, she said it, that he actually asked her, should they take it to the next level? And she was like, no. So after she said that, he probably thought, all right, cool. So that's probably why he was so blind and oblivious to the way he was, for me, that she was clearly beginning to feel, but she just wasn't saying anything.
Yeah, and I think that part was when they were in college.
Yeah.
She said they were in college, and then she was just like, well, let's see. And she said no. In fact, when that bit happened, I was like, so really, this is actually your fault because you said no. You said no. My guy decided to like, go about his business.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
And it's so annoying. Why do women do this?
Yeah, why do you? You tell me. You tell me.
So why do women do this? And some guys do this as well. Let's not just leave it on the women. I know men do this nonsense as well, and it's just like, you got a great thing here, and instead of you to come on, like, make a move or something, you don't do it, and it's just like hello. But I think one of the things I really liked about the movie was how they intertwined the love of hip hop and a relationship, kind of like intertwining that. So it's like, on one hand, she was talking about the love of hip hop. On the other hand, she was talking about the love that she has for this guy. It's like hip hop represented the guy.
Yeah, all the way through. Yeah.
Do you see that? Like,
and you know what? Let me pull you back even more now, because hip hop was obviously the clear theme of the movie from the beginning, and I loved how they were showing a lot of the old hip hop heads at the very beginning. They had some people up in there. I mean, like the original guys, which I would say, that's true hip hop. You're talking about like Cool G Rap, De La Soul, Jermaine Dupri. The list just was going on. Method Man, Russell Simmons. It was great to see them guys, even if it was just for that split second, just to kind of hear them and give them their true story in terms of their feeling about hip hop and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So I thought from the very outset that hip hop vibe for me was like always there. And one of the questions I wanted to pose to you, T, because like she made a statement at the beginning that she said she fell in love with hip hop July 18, 1984. So that's kind of like where she started off with the childhood scene. Just kind of going a little bit to the side. Do you think it's possible for people to like have a relationship with music?
Yeah, I think so. I think they can do. And it's funny you say that, because I was listening to a podcast, which is one of my coolest podcasts that I've been listening to at the moment. The first season just finished. It's called Black Girl Songbook.
Okay.
And it's by the former editor of I think it was Vibe and I can't remember the other magazine. And she talks about her love for music, like how music made her feel and the kind of things that it would make her do, the thinking, everything. And I thought it was quite deep. Like, I know I love music, but for other people, it's so deep. It's just like music is like another person. They make music feel like another person, like it's just another body that's there. Although you can't see it, you could hear it, or you can almost like feel it as well. So it's crazy that I think you can do like the way it was in the movie and with this podcast that I was listening to. I think so. Yeah, it's weird. It's really weird because I'm like, this is a bit kind of like. But
I kind of do feel the same way to a certain degree, because I'm just thinking like when I really started getting into music when I was younger, there was a lot of the R&B and the hip hop and stuff like that, and I'm supposed the same as a lot of people. There were certain tunes I would listen to for certain circumstances. So if I was vexed, you know what I'm saying, I would come back and I would listen to a certain track. You know what I'm saying? If I was, if I was upset about something, I would listen to a certain track. If I was in that movie, I was thinking about someone that I was dating, I would listen to a certain track. So it did have that kind of like emotional connection with music where I kind of felt like there was a song for every situation. And I suppose if you think about what relationship is, then, the whole sharing and like being able to express yourself in a relationship. And I suppose music kind of does that, because you kind of share your experiences with certain tracks. You express yourself sometimes through certain tracks. So from that point of view, I guess I kind of agree with the fact that you can almost have a relationship with music.
Yeah, and I think music, depending on where you are in life or what you're doing, music somehow plays a significant part of that. And obviously it's like it triggers you. Certain songs or even certain lines, not even the song itself, but certain lines in the song can trigger you, and it will trigger a memory of something specific that happened. So it really does like play a part in like our lives. And for me, it's great to see it. Like the way they did it in the movie, I think was pretty good. Like, falling in love with music itself, with hip hop, with everything about it. The from the rapper to the way it was produced, the tones, everything, all just little things that sometimes some consumers might not think of.
Yeah.
But for someone who loves it, it's on a deeper level. There's something else that they get from it. So I believe that you can do, for sure.
You know what? One of the things I couldn't figure out, I don't know if you did, was Queen Latifah actually her cousin or a friend? Because they call each other cousin at the beginning, and then later on in the movie, they kind of like talking as if they're close friends. And I couldn't really figure it out what she was supposed to be.
For me, I thought it were not friends, cousins.
Okay.
I think I must have missed the part of the way it felt like friends, but it was definitely cousin.
Okay.
From what I heard, yeah. I think they were cousins. It was interesting to see Queen Latifah in this movie. I was just like, okay, interesting. You know, she did a little something in it. Was she? I mean, obviously she was not the most relevant part because it wasn't her storyline. She was just a co-star, you know, supporting actress or whatever it is. So I guess she played her part fine. But yeah, I think it was just the cousin thing, and she did alright.
Yeah, she did. I guess she did. I mean, that was one of her earlier films. She kind of grew into some of her own roles later on down the line, anyway. So it's all good. I want to get your take on something as a woman. So obviously you're saying before about why do women do this, but there was this scene that I saw, and I wonder what T's going to say about this. So obviously at the beginning, like we know, he was with somebody else, but he was still very close with Sydney. And like I said, I believe that Sydney had feelings for him from the very beginning. Mm-hmm. So what did you make of the scene where she had feelings for him, but she now finds herself in a situation where he goes to her, shows her the engagement ring to get her opinion so they can give it to somebody else?
Listen, I was dying for her, to be honest with you. I was just like, damn. You're in love with this guy and he comes and shows you an engagement ring for someone else, whereas really that engagement ring should be yours.
It's yours, yeah,
but it's not. Mate, listen, I was just like, no, I felt it. And I don't know why. I guess because like if you've got a guy friend who is a really, really good friend, like who's almost like a best buddy.
Yeah.
And obviously if you don't have feelings for him, that's different. But if you do have feelings for him, and you know he's showing you like he's completely like oblivious to your feelings, he's showing you, yo, I got this engagement ring for this girl, like she's so and you're just like there like if that was me,
would you sabotage?
I don't think I would sabotage it, but I would somehow communicate my feelings. I think I would write it in a letter rather than tell him face to face, because it's just like I hate living with shoulda, woulda, couldas.
Yeah.
Like if only I had maybe shoulda, you know, at least if he knew how I felt, then he can make his own decision whether to go through with the marriage. Maybe although he wants to get married, he's excited about getting. Maybe he doesn't really want to get married, and possibly looking for a way out, and then me telling him could be that thing for him not to go through with it. So it's just like, and he's not proposed to her yet as well. So there's still room. There's still room.
So she doesn't know what's coming. So you can literally put a stop right there.
Exactly that. And to be honest with you, I've actually done that on a couple of occasions where like there was been a couple of guys that I've liked, and I was like, if I don't tell these guys, I don't know what happened. And then I think what even made me do it was because there were a few losses around me, like, you know, extended families and stuff like that. And I was like, you know what, this life is too short. I don't care, man.
Yeah, just gotta do what you gotta do.
Literally, yeah. And I sent the messages and everything like that. And I was just like, damn, did I really just do that? But as scared as I was happy that I did it.
That you did it, yeah.
Yeah. And he's married now as well, so which is hella crazy. But yeah, at least for me, knowing that I at least communicate my feelings and said, look, this is how I feel about you. I like you. You can do whatever you want with it, but I just needed to tell you and get it off my chest.
Yeah.
At least I've done it. So, yeah.
That's quite interesting, actually. Anyway, the next scene. I want to see what you're gonna, if you picked up anything on this, because on this scene I just kind of went completely black, and you'll see what I mean when I say that. So the next scene, right, was the bridal shower, and there's all. I'm looking around and there's all these pretty black ladies in the shower. They're all chatting with each other. And my thought while I'm watching this scene is all these pretty black ladies are here. They're all like, you know, obviously from that Caribbean, Africa, wherever they are from. Why is there no rice and peas on the table? What's with the cucumber sandwiches?
Are you for real?
Yeah, what's with the cucumber sandwiches and biscuits? Where's the rice and peas, the fried chicken, the pumpkin pie?
Because
That ain't no kind of anything that I've been to.
because black people can be bougie too. It's not just for the white folks. Black people know how to be bougie. So when they want to be bougie, there's a time and a place to be bougie, and there's a time and a place to eat that good old rice and peas and chicken and ackee and saltfish and jollof rice or whatever. There's a time and a place for that.
Yeah, there's a time and a place for it, but it's your wedding shower. You're with your girls. All of them are black. There's no need for the cucumber sandwiches or the biscuits.
Bro,
the rice and peas, the fried chicken, the jollof rice, whatever it is that you eat, you gotta put it on the table, man.
Do you know what? You have to, like, it. You saying that now, thinking back to it, it did look kind of dry. But I know for me, for my bridal shower, it can't look like that. It has to have a mixture of like cucumber sandwiches. You know, you're gonna have some chicken. Then you're gonna have your traditional foods. It's still gonna look classy, but it's gonna have all my favorite foods on there. But it's just the perceptions that some black people want to, portray. Like,
I mean, like I said, I agree with you. I don't mind there being like that element of bouginess in there, but it's like there was no blackness.
There's no blackness.
Yeah.
Maybe they didn't want to feel like blackness. I think I don't feel blackness. What is that exactly? But I think maybe like the directors wanted to feel like, no, that we want to make sure that this looks like this is the uppity of black. You have the different levels of being black. This is another level of it where it's just plain cucumbers and sandwiches and just this whole facade kind of thing. And it's just like, I hate that sometimes. Like when you're trying too much to be like how, your white counterparts used to be, like that whole posh element thing and stuff like that. Sometimes it's too forced, and I'm just like, and I think black people don't know how to do like, no, hold on. They can do bougie, but sometimes it's forced. Like, you can tell when it's forced, when they're trying too much. And it's just like, and in that, and the way they were talking as well. And I'm like, yeah, this is too forced, man. Like, you really want to have that, like, fried chicken, that taco on the table. Not this slim, I got to keep my weight intact. Please, man, forget that.
Yeah, stop that mess. But you know what, with Sydney and with Dre, one thing that I really liked about them was the banter that they had between them, and where they could kind of say things to each other, even things that other people would consider rude, but they kind of knew each other enough. So there's that scene where they're in the shop picking out a gift, and the customer lady assumes that they're a couple.
Yes. So
she's like, no, we're just friends. And then afterwards she's like, why you gotta say it like that? And he goes, why you gotta say like I ain't nothing? And she's like, because you ain't. And so he's like, what? She actually went there.
But yeah, why not?
But you know what? The banter's good though.
The banter was very good. I mean, if you're fortunate to have a friend like that where you can banter off like that, I think that's priceless. And I have that stupidity with like one of my guy friends. We go back and forth with like stupid talk sometimes. But the thing is, we're good because, we've been friends for years, so we kind of know we get each other. And to be honest with you, I think every girl needs a guy like that they don't have feelings for. I think every girl should have a guy that they're super best friends with, and you can talk about anything. It can be the most awkward, and the way that she said to him, you should be able to have that with your guy best friend, and you don't have feelings for them. I think that only really works if you don't have feelings for them. Like,
you know what? That brings up an interesting point. Obviously, like it's something that's in the movie from the very beginning. But do you believe that like guys and girls can be best friends without anything going more?
Yes, I believe it. Absolutely. Okay. Some people think no, but I believe you can do.
Yeah,
you can do. Like, and I think you have to decide that from the beginning. I mean, obviously, some friendships develop into a relationship eventually, but then that's if like either of you bring it up, or not, or like, yeah, if any one of you brings it up, then you then decide, okay, yeah, let's do it. And if you tried it, it works great. If you tried it, it doesn't, then you can still be friends. Like, you don't need to make it awkward. Like, at least you tried, but it didn't work. But I do think that men and women can be friends. It's fine. Like, there's nothing wrong with it, just as long as you both know where you're at. You're clear about your feelings. Like, yo, I'm your bestie. That's it. You live your life, I'm gonna live my life. You can have a say in certain things, I can have a say in certain things in your life as well. It's just friends. That's it. And
I mean, I agree with that 100%. I mean, when I was probably about 18, 19, one of the closest friends I had was actually a girl as well. We were like friends, talking for like hours on the phone, 3 o'clock, sometimes fall asleep talking to each other. And there was never any kind of like thought of more or anything like that. And even though I know you were saying, you kind of said it from the beginning, we didn't even say nothing from the beginning. We were just friends, and we just knew that it was a friendship thing. And we were really good in terms of like the friendship, and we, literally the same kind of thing that was going on in the movie. I could talk to her about whoever I was with, she would talk to me about whoever she was with, and it literally was that kind of thing where we would just chat about anything. So I definitely agree with you there, that you can be.
Although I have to say, like, with one of my my guy best friend, like my close friend right now, so before we actually became like really, really good friends, I did like him like way before, and we did like kind of like each other. It was clear that we did, but then nothing happened. So but now we're able to. And the thing is, what I really love about our friendship is that we can laugh about it like a lot, and there's no awkwardness. There's no nothing. Like, we can actually laugh at like that time or this and that, and say something stupid about each other, and just go, and it's so cool. Like, I value, that's probably one of the friendships that I absolutely value. Like, then nobody should try it. Like, even if when I get married in the future, I'm be like, hubby, so this is my guy best friend. Get to know each other because he's in my life. So there you go. So yeah,
that's quite interesting. Well, one of the themes that was in the movie for me was the whole thing of them trying to be like real with the music in terms of having that authentic kind of sound. And the scene after this, the shop scene, was actually the one where they went to the concert together. Because if you remember, like, I think he was meant to go with his missus and she couldn't make it, so he took Sydney. Yeah. So they went to the concert where we had Mos Def on stage. Now, I don't know about you, but I've been someone that's always said for years that music now, I don't feel is the same as it was in the 90s, early 2000s. There was something about music then, especially when you come to hip hop, which is completely different. I think now we've got more hip hop. Pop, literally. Ooh, that's the way I see it. We've got the hip hop. We don't have the hip hop. And there's a big difference, because I think hip hop in its origin wasn't meant as a commercial genre. Yeah. When you see the birth of where it came from and what they were using it for, it wasn't really meant to be a commercial genre. And obviously, eventually it became one of those things where the guys tried to use it to get out of their situations and stuff like that. But even then, there was an authenticity about like the lyrics and what they was talking about, life situations or real thing that was going on, especially when you're looking at groups like NWA and all that kind of stuff as well. So I felt like that is a very different period in terms of music, especially, I mean, even going to, like I said, this film was done like 2002, so we're talking about a long time ago. I would have probably included that era around about then as well. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, hip hop is definitely different. Like, the music is definitely different from then and now. And it's so funny you say that. Like, I find myself listening to old hip hop a lot than I do anything of the new stuff, because for me nowadays, a lot of these new rappers or millennial rappers are so lazy. They're very lazy when it comes to writing, when it comes to actually formulating words together, and just talking a whole load of nonsense, in my opinion. So for me, like, they really don't, like, hip hop then, the Mos Def era, the Tribe Called Quest, your NWAs, and that era of music was just, it was very authentic. It was real. It was raw. It was just like, I don't know, just the beat, just the production, like how songs were produced then. Very different. Yeah. It was very different, and it was just like, yeah, you get this, like, it resonates. It's just like, this is, I don't even know how to explain it. Again, you know how we were talking before about having a relationship like with music. That's just how it is. Like, there is something about it that you absolutely love. Sometimes you can't pinpoint it, but it is It is amazing. It is, it's beautiful. It's sensual. It's everything. It's just like, yeah, it's definitely a lot. It's different now than it was
then.
Back then. Like, I was listening to Redman the other day, and I still do.
Oh wow,
Honestly,
yeah. Listen,
I was listening to Redman. I was just like going through the albums. I was just like, yo, it's just taking me back. I'm like, they don't make it like this no more.
They don't. And it's not even just the hip hop. Actually, it's for me. I find it's in all genres of music. I mean, hip hop, R&B, and dancehall were my ones then. And now when I listen to people like Beanie Man and Red Rat and all them guys back in the day,
Red Rat, my God.
There's no hip hop and R&B and dancehall that compares. I mean, I'm talking about when you look at those times there, you had artists like Brandy, Monica, Aaliyah. I can't think of any R&B artist right now that I would put with them guys up there. Not one.
Listen, none of them. There is no one that can put on the level. Like, I was even discussing the other day. So you have the versus battle and stuff like that. Yeah. And we were thinking like, oh my gosh, who could go up against Missy Elliott? And you look around, you're like, there is nobody that could contest Missy Elliott. Like, you can't even.
Yeah.
The only other female rapper that people would put on, but Missy would absolutely annihilate them. So if you talk to people like Queen Pen or MC Lyte, even maybe Queen Latifah, actually, I think one of those three could. But for me, the person who would most likely to go up against Missy would be Busta Rhymes, because those two on that level, phenomenal. They're on the same level. Like, she's just a female version of Busta and whatever. But anyways, so coming back to like music now, it's just not the same. And it's not as enjoyable. It really is not as enjoyable as before. Like, I know for me, my listening habits are very old school, right?
Yeah.
Now, like, there's very rare where I listen to something new and be like, oh my gosh, this is great. Nah. There's nothing taking my fancy. And it's a shame. It's a shame. And like you said, hip hop is now more commercial. They really want to do this whole commercial, like, oh, let's make some money, as much money as we can. Let's make some new fads, some new dance. So the essence of what it was is lost in the whole of money making and, trying to get the coin, the dollar, everything like that. It's lost, and there was something about the Most Def beat, like the sound, like that hip hop sound in the movie, which I thought, what, this is missing. When you hear that now, when you want to hear that now, it's not there.
The only way to hear it is to do exactly what you said that you do, which is listen to some of the old stuff. There's nothing new that can give you that same vibe now.
Honestly. But I would say Redman, I think there was a song that he brought out not that long ago, and I heard what he was trying to do. Like, he was still trying to keep that old school beat, that old school hip hop sound to this track, and I was like, I get this. I can see that he wants to keep it there. He doesn't want this whole new pop stuff. He really wanted to keep it back to that old school, like, hip hop, dirty beats, and just like, you heard it.
Well, then one of the next scenes after that point was when obviously Dre at that same concert, he found out that his manager had signed these two idiots the 101 Dalmatian jackets and stuff. So obviously he was not happy, and the next day he flipped, went into work, and he wasn't liking what his boss did. So the end result of that is he had a very bad day at work, and he found himself at Sydney's place in the evening to basically cuss off the day. Right. So there's a couple of things I want to get into in regards to that scene. Is one, do you think the reason he went to Sydney's was more because of the level of their friendship, or because there was that kind of secret feeling he had, which he hadn't admitted to himself, regarding her? Because don't forget, at this time he's now engaged. Do you know what I'm saying? So he could have gone and said whatever to his fiance or whatever, but he still chose, let me go to Sydney and tell her. So first off, what do you think his reason was for choosing Sydney to say, bad day, it's got to be Sydney I've got to go to? Why that way?
It's because she understands the music. They're both in the music industry, so she understands the frustration of, this pop crap that's literally been signed, or hip hop crap, like he talked about. Like, this nonsense has been signed, and he needs to steam off because like she understands the music, she understands real hip hop, real music, and she'll definitely know that this is not hip hop. This is not what he loves or what they fell in love with. So she would understand his frustrations and his anger and his disappointment, and you know, being able to offer him some like comfort, like, yo, I totally understand, I know what you're feeling. And then you then see them kind of like trace back to like a bit of history of hip hop, like back when this and that. So it's just like, it's someone to bounce off because they understand each other on that level when it comes to like the business of music and, you know, what music really is, and not just for the fast money making, but the real authenticity of an artist's, you know, craft, like what they're talking about, how they're making their beats, just the authenticity of it. So I don't think it was because, you know, he's got these on.
See, I'm going to challenge you on that now, because let's not forget that scene is also the one where they shared their first kiss again. So, you know, he obviously is that stage now where he's just exposed to her with his emotions and everything else and telling her about the bad day. And she's, like you said, she completely gets it because she loves the music just as much as he does. Then she hugs him to comfort him, and then they share a kiss straight after that. So I would challenge you and say, surely there must be some kind of feelings that was involved there, because if it was just a case of you're my brethren, boom, hug, it would have been, don't you think it would have been the hug and let go, maybe tap, tap, tap on the back?
You know what? I think up until that point, that was when, if not for that hug, I think they would have gone about it separate ways. But because they hugged, then in that moment, all of a sudden, oh damn, like, I love this girl. Oh my God, I love this guy. But are we going to do it? Is it going to happen? And then they happened. And then it happened. They kissed.
And this is where you're talking about, you just want to give both of them a clap on the side of their head and say, come on, man.
Honestly, come on, just do this. And wasn't that a day before the actual wedding?
Yeah, literally the day before.
Imagine the day before the wedding.
Yeah. Mad thing.
I was just like, this is a joke, right? I was like, what the hell is going on here, please? Just dash the wedding aside.
Both of them have an opportunity right here and then to say, you know what? Obviously, there's something here. We need to kind of find out what we can explore, what's going on here.
Exactly. But they didn't. And it's so frustrating. But I think for me, up until that hug, it was fine. Yeah. And then obviously when you're in that moment and you feel it, you're gonna do it. You're gonna do it.
And you know what?
I would.
At this point, it's like Sydney makes this comment, and this is when we realize how she's commenting about hip hop when she's really talking about Dre, because she says that hip hop is now mixing with the mainstream world of music, and how she always saw hip hop as something that was just for her, but now she realizes she has to share it, and it was hard. And for me, that's when I've realized, you know what, you're talking about Dre, you're not even talking about the music no more. Because,
right?
Because you're saying that he's mixing with thing, which is obviously the girl that he's now thing with, and he's you know, you've already said that she's making him so much different. So that's like the kind of switch from the authentic to the mainstream. Because like she was, remember that scene where you were saying that he hasn't had no hot dogs or anything because she's on these cucumber sandwich tip. So he really enjoyed it. And now she's saying, he's mixing with the mainstream now, and what she thought was just for her, she now has to share it. And she didn't say his name, but the fact she uses hip hop in that sentence shows the relation that she was kind of having right there.
And you know what? Yeah, I think furthermore, hip hop was really all about Dre in the beginning. Like, as much as we think she was talking about hip hop, the music, but I felt like hip hop was Dre. Like, this was her love story about Dre. It was never, hip hop was just the guys. The guys. But hip hop was Dre, because at that moment you're just like, girl, you love this man. You need to say something, you know, say something. And when she didn't, I was just like, oh wow. And
that takes us up to the wedding scene. I mean, Queen Latifah was trying to prod her for the whole wedding to get up and say something. And like, I'm thinking, is she gonna do it? Is she gonna do it? But she didn't actually do it. But Queen Latifah, oh my days, that was a joke. I thought she was going to end up standing up herself and trying to say something. Yeah.
Honestly, I really thought, I was like, oh my gosh, she's going to do it. And then she didn't. I was like, what a climax. That was just like, oh, great.
I mean, for me, it's like, I don't know. He kissed her the day before. They he knows about the feeling. Now, I don't know about him, but if I was in that situation and I had kissed someone the day before my wedding, I know for the whole night, that's all I'm thinking about. Nothing else. I'm thinking about that for the whole night, up to the day. And then when I get there and I see her now, I'm still thinking about it while I'm standing there. Do you know what I'm saying? Would I be able to go through with it? I don't know.
Do you know what? I think men would. Men do this. Men would do just that. They would happily go through with it. I don't see women.
I don't know.
Actually, some women. I think some men and some women will go through with it.
Yeah, I think it's a tough one because on one hand, you're met with the thing of, okay, this has happened, and you don't want to like kind of disrespect that person's feelings because you just kissed them. That they're in there watching you about to marry somebody else when they know what happened the night before. At the same time, you've got this woman standing next to you. You and her have obviously spent how many thousands of pounds on this wedding?
It's the money.
All the people are there dressed up. All the food and everything is there. So I think that would be the part where you start thinking, I probably should go through it because, we just kind of did a madness on this wedding. And it's not like to say, our kind of wedding, that what we would have done. The fact that they've had cucumber sandwiches and stuff like that, they've spent money on the venue and everything else. Ridiculous money. So maybe that played a part in him going through it. I don't know.
I think so, and that's what a lot of people do. Like, if something has happened prior to the wedding day, and you look at all the money that has been spent, and you're there at the altar knowing full well that you can't marry this is not the person that you should be marrying. You look around, you look at all the money spent, this and that. Some people would sacrifice the embarrassment or the shame for saying yes and then living with that for the rest of their lives. I mean, sometimes it might change, sometimes it might not. But I don't. And I've known friends to have broken off their engagement, or maybe even 2 weeks, a week before the wedding. They've cancelled the wedding for one reason or the other. But to wait till the altar, I don't think they've gotten to that stage. It should never get to that stage before you cancel, before you say no, because otherwise, that's a lot of money wasted. Kind of, because you can still go through with the reception. Let people go and enjoy them. So that nothing goes to waste. Let people go and enjoy the food. Let them enjoy the food and just party. Let the DJ play. And
you know what? I don't know if I would say this is. I wouldn't say it's a spoiler because you kind of look at the cover of the film and you know in the end they're going to end up together anyway. So obviously we know that at the end of the film we're going to come back anyway. But at the end of the film we know that they end up together.
Yes.
So he doesn't stay with Reese. I think the wife's name is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he doesn't stay with Reese, but. Here's a question for you. Do you think that for her, the breaking point was when he quit his job and he didn't tell her first?
Yeah, because what woman wants her husband to come home and say, I quit my job? I'm like, wait, why didn't we talk about this?
And not just the fact that he quit his job, but he told Sydney before he told her.
Yeah, that. Listen, even me, I can't lie. Even me, I'd be vexed. I'd be vexed because I'm your wife first. She's your friend second. Because you've made this choice to be in a relationship. Your wife comes first, if not after God. But your wife comes first, and then everybody else afterwards is secondary. So the fact that you quit your job, you told your best friend before you told me, and even discussing it with me, I'd be vexed too. 100% be vexed. You shouldn't have done that. But 100, come on, man. You need to respect the person that you're with. That's a major life decision. And what if your partner wasn't earning? They were earning great, but not 100% great.
Yeah.
It's going to be one person, and who knows how long it will take you to now look to get a job. How long might it take? You're hoping that it's not that long, but. Listen, the way things are, well, back then or now, you kind of just, you need to talk these things through. You need to talk them through. You can't just be making decisions like that. But yeah, man, I'm with the wife at this point.
Well, we know that both Dre's relationship with Reese as well as Sydney's relationship with, I can't remember who the guy's name is now, but her relationship with the baller, they both kind of all go sideways. So first I want to look at Sydney's one because for me, the part where she was probably owning R anyway from the beginning, but the part where I kind of felt where she was thinking, yeah, dude, you ain't serious, is where she's gone to watch his basketball game and then they start talking about her articles that she's written, and then she questions him about it, and this dude hasn't read any of it. But then he tries to go on like he did until she catches him out. You know what I'm
This
saying?
is it.
Yeah. So it's like, for me, I felt like that was a point where she kind of thought, if there was going to be a chance for us, you're kind of like broken this now.
Yeah, I think for me, I 100% agree that it was at that point where she was just like, obviously she was, talking about the wedding stuff, and even then he was a bit like, And then when she asked him about the articles, and then he started flopping, and I was just like, no. I said, guy, you are losing this woman, because you have to remember, like, whoever you're with, you have to take an interest in what they're doing. You have to take an interest in their passion, and at least support them, even if it means reading articles or having just some kind of input in something, or if they ask for it, just be like a bit more alert and active in what they're doing. And the fact that he was very like basketball, I think for him, she was like this trophy chick.
Yeah.
Like she's high earning, she's black, she's this, she's she's a super strong woman. All of that characteristics, all that kind of like crap stuff.
Yeah.
Aesthetic stuff. But internally, he was not right there. Yes, they had a great bedroom action or whatever, but he was not there when it comes to being emotionally and mentally there at all for her. He was just very, very vacant, and it was all about him, and not her. So that for me,
that was obvious from the fact that he mentioned the fact that the last article he read was the one she wrote about him.
Right? Yeah. I was just like, bro, really? Like, you actually gonna do that, and you now brought it about you?
Yeah.
Nah. We're gonna start counting them red flags. That was just number one, and then the rest just decided to show up. So
yeah.
Nah, man.
And going on to Dre's turn now. So now I have to say, I kind of saw this coming, because from the time like early on in the movie where the two of them have the same phone, you keep picking up the wrong phones and going about your business with each other's phones, right? I knew something's going to happen where someone's going to see something on the other person's phone. So it turns out that Dre was the one that saw something on his wife's phone in terms of making a plan to go and meet this other dude. Now, I don't know if I would agree to do things the way he did, because he blatantly just brought Sydney there to go and challenge, and like she's already feeling a way about Sydney anyway, the wife, but he brought her there, and I couldn't understand. The guy went there pretending like they were friends, and like, oh my gosh,
right?
How good is it to see you here? What, like, oh no, dude, seriously, why are you even playing?
See how you men are crazy, how you men do things like that. It's just like, that was when they say, to apply wisdom to things, that was stupidity and ego at work. There was no wisdom or thought that went into that challenge. Like, that could have been done very differently. And like rightly you said, he did not need to take Sydney with him to do that, because she felt awkward, and it was just like, you just used me as a pawn in this. I'm your friend, but don't be doing that nonsense. Like, no, this is a fight between you and your wife. It's not us three. It's you and your wife, kind of thing. You need to be sorting that out. So he didn't need to do any of that. He should just gone by himself and done what he was going to do without Sydney there. Or even challenge the wife at home and saying that I've got evidence of you with another man. So what's the deal? And the way she got caught out even was just like, wow. Yeah. That was serious.
Well, to her I don't know if you would say it's to her benefit. She didn't really even challenge it. She realized she got caught. She didn't even make excuses. She just kind of sat there and just took it and was like,
yeah. And then the guy was just like, oh hell no, like no, I didn't know you were still married, this and that. So as much as men do this nonsense about when they just married men go and meet single women and whatnot, married women you do it too. It's just like, I've always said it. Whatever a man does, a woman can do. Like,
very true.
That she can do. There's no say, just women do this or just men do. No. Both sexes do. They really both do. So, she was a bit sloppy, to be honest. She was sloppy.
I mean, I have to say, she was definitely sloppy, because if you think about it, if you planned this secret date behind your partner's back here, right? How have you gone the whole day without your phone and not realized it?
Right? This is it. And like, how could you? I think that was an oversight on the writers or whoever was thinking about that scene. It's just like, That there should have been something come up about that.
Yeah,
like,
because they would have been
gosh.
texting during the day, like, looking forward to tonight or something. Some kind of message exchanges would have been happening. They wouldn't have been just like planned the day before, just turn up the next day. I mean, I know for a fact the woman definitely would have said, "Are we still on for later?" or something. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But no, apparently she got through the day without her phone, and yeah, Dre had it.
Oh gosh, honestly, like if you're gonna cheat, man, like just be a bit more like stealth about it. Like don't leave. Yeah, when you're sloppy, you get caught. Standard.
So obviously this whole thing leads to Dre and Sydney spending their first night together because he's flipped, gone back to hers now. She's now back in this situation where actually, she didn't comfort him. He decided, since I've been in this situation, I'm going to press my luck with Sydney because she was just minding her own business, putting the books away on the shelf, and he decided to get all up in her grill. So she wasn't even trying nothing. He just kind of like felt, you know what? I've lost my wife anyway, so maybe you can even cuss him.
He had nothing to
'cause I'm
lose.
thinking, it's like almost you can cuss him thinking, why now? So now that you've lost your other woman, now you're gonna go back for Sydney. It's like, dude, seriously.
Who's with someone else at this time? 'Cause
Yeah.
she's still with that other guy.
Yeah.
He's still with him. He thought, I'm gonna try my luck, knowing full well she'll probably not back down. This is the thing. Like he was a bit calculated in my opinion because of the kiss that happened before. The only thing that stopped them pursuing anything further was because the fact that he went through with that marriage. And so for him now, his marriage is dead in the water. Yes, she might be seeing this guy, but he knows that she's not serious about him. So it's just like, I'm gonna push my luck. I'm gonna try it, and I know she's not gonna resist. And she didn't resist. She went through.
She went through it, and they spent their first night together. But then next morning they wake up, and like she's not on it no more. She's not on it no more. So
I think it was the era of guilt, because obviously she's still in a relationship.
Yeah.
And she just cheated
by
on
this
him.
time, he sounds like he's like fully ready to say, you know what, let's just go with the flow and see where this goes. But she's like, nah, I'm with this dude. And then they have a debate about how long he lasted. So he says 10 minutes. She goes, no, 5. 9, 7.
As I was walking out, I was trying to walk out the door, and I'm just like,
I'm like, wow,
really?
dude.
You're really gonna go there? Like, as if that's the most important thing that you needed to go. I felt like his ego needed to be rubbed, because if you're asking like your friend, like, 10 minutes is just like you're trying to see whether like you still got it, or that I can satisfy her. And I'm just like, bro, no, this is not the time to be doing it, to be talking about that. But the fact that you have to ask and say, it was about 10 minutes, probably wasn't.
Yeah.
If you can't remember.
You can't remember. So this kind of leads on to her now getting to the stage where she's kind of like got that sense of confusion in terms of what she really wants, because as she leaves there, then she goes, throughout the whole film, she kind of like narrates certain parts of the film. So she says, as part of that she always thought one day she'd outgrow her love with hip-hop, but she never thought it could grow and mature, and that they have history, they laugh together, she doesn't have to pretend with hip-hop, and hip-hop doesn't have to pretend with her. That's a deep statement when you understand what she's talking about.
It's talking about Dre.
Yeah.
Like, that's just Dre. Like, that's just basically talking about her feelings, her deep-rooted feelings for Dre, because she thought he could never grow, or he could never grow up and mature. Yeah. But yet he did. He did, and it's just like, whoa, she's realized that this person that she's always been in love with has all of a sudden changed. He's matured, he's grown, he's this person that she never thought that could happen, but it has happened. Yeah. It's just like, just to go, why are you talking about hip-hop? Like I said before, hip-hop is Dre.
Dre is Dre. Most definitely, it's Dre. Yeah. And it's quite interesting because obviously, like, she's writing a book about hip-hop, which we come to understand throughout the film. Mm-hmm. And then they get to the part now where, and we're coming towards the end of the movie, where she's now in this radio studio and apparently talking about hip-hop. Quotation marks, put it inside Marx, her book about hip hop,
right,
which is really Dre. So the radio presenter opens it up for calls, and hip hop decides to give her a ring. So now she's talking to hip hop, and hip hop says, "When did you realize you fell in love with hip hop?" So at that instance, I don't know if she actually realized it was Dre, because she answered like she was talking about music still.
Yeah, and then he then corrected her. He
Yeah.
then corrected her and said, "No, when did you first fall in love?" And she was like, "Oh."
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
And then she got fidgety. I was like, "Oh my God, I gotta say this out on live, on
Yeah,
national radio."
Yeah.
Yes, you do.
And this goes back to the point I said, because she then says that she's always been in love with hip hop from the very first time she saw hip hop. So
Which is when they were young, basically.
yeah,
So she's been in love with him for all these years.
that time. So then why did she say no at college? I just don't get it.
Listen, this is the thing. Like, why did she say no at college? Because that was a perfect opportunity for you to then say, okay, let's try this. If you're in love with someone, if you've been loving someone for like those years, but then do you know what? Maybe she felt like, although she said that it wasn't right, but maybe she felt like he wasn't mature enough, because, you know, going back to the comment you just said about, you know, she never thought he could mature or grow. So maybe in college he wasn't mature enough to be in a relationship or to understand being in a relationship. So she was like, nah, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait. It took him marrying someone, and her nearly marrying someone to find out like really she actually loved this guy, and that yes, she wants to do something. But I do believe that I don't think she felt he was ready at that point when she said no. I mean, just thinking about it now, it makes sense. It does make sense. It makes sense.
Well, you know what? As the film obviously draws to an end and stuff, he comes into the studio. So all this time, like, he's on this phone call, asking the questions. When did you fall in love with hip hop? All this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And she doesn't realize that he's on the way to the studio to that kind of, in his own unique way, confess his undying love for her. Now, I thought it was a touch, that thing where he comes with the paper and puts it on the screen. Because remember earlier on in the movie, he says, yeah, he didn't cook for you. If it was me, I'll just give you a sign that says yes, no, or maybe. So I thought that was quite a touch that he actually stayed true to that. He came back and he did that whole yes, no, or maybe thing. So I want to ask you this question. Would you have preferred the whole cooking and thing for you, or are you more of a yes, no, or maybe girl?
What if a guy was to cook for me?
Well, you got the two choices. You can have a guy that's going to like propose after he's cooked and all that business for you, or you got a guy that's going to ask you on a date with a yes, no, or maybe like letter that he's written.
Okay, so I'm gonna be honest. I love food, so I'm gonna go with the food. I love me some food, and for me, God knows that I'm praying for a man that can cook. Because if he can't cook, we have a problem. Like, it's part of the deal breaker. And I can cook, by the way. So if
I was about to ask you, just in case it's going to be a one-way thing.
Trust me, because I know people will be like, "Oh, but can you cook?" No, I can cook. I can cook. Trust me. And nobody's complained. Nobody's ever complained about my cooking. So for me, because I love food, I'll be like, "Yeah, cook for me. Like, I want to see what you got." You know. But you got to ask me. But if you're going to ask me out on a date, ask me out on a date. If you're going to cook for me, like, on a date, as a date, then yeah, do it. It's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if he came to you with a yes, no, or maybe? I kind of think you would just go with maybe just to mess him about.
to mess with his mind a little bit. Will you go out with me? Maybe. I don't know. But do you know what? I think because of the romanticness of it, him asking her with the piece of paper, that was very cute. I think it shows that he listens, and he's very sentimental about the little things. Like, he pays attention. So for me, although the food is great, but doing that, I think there's a more sentiment attached to that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And you know what? It's kind of going back on myself now. I should have caught this earlier, but based on what you just said, that it shows that he really listens to her and stuff like that. One thing that I really liked in the movie, which I think she kind of like got thrown by, is when he's sitting down chatting to her, and then he quotes a line from her very first ever post that she written. And like, don't forget, she had just gone through this thing with her partner where he hadn't read anything. At all. But this is the guy quoting your very first one. I don't know how many she's written since, but he quoted the very first one she's ever written, and she was just like, how on earth do you remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that goes to show how like serious he was. Or you could say maybe about the friendship from the beginning, but then I would say that I don't think even if your best friend is like a male or female, you're necessarily gonna read all the stuff. So that's why I'm kind of thinking, yeah, he was kind of feeling it from the beginning too, obviously, because he's been doing it from day one. He said he's read all of them and he was looking forward to reading the book. I would do that for a female friend, but I don't know if it would be like every one of the posts that they do.
Every article, no. It wouldn't be. Well, then it depends on how much you love this person or how much you really care about them, because you might do. Even though you don't, the fact that you've read a number of it and you quote something out of it, like imagine if like I wrote like 100 articles, and out of those articles, my partner was able to say like a line from one of those articles or from like 4 or 5 of those articles. I'd be like, even me, I'd be shook. Yeah. I'd be shook. I'd be like, if I let this one slip away, my God, I'd be doing myself a disjustice. And it goes to show, and I think that should be a message for people. Like, pay attention to your partner. Pay attention to the little things in their life, because those little things go such a long way. And again, like I said, if you're taking an interest in what your partner is all about and their life and the things that interest them, that they love, honestly, like, it makes a huge difference in how you relate and how you talk about things and how you discover things together. So yeah, man, just appreciate what your partner has, because it's important. It's important.
Real talk. And obviously, like I said, at the end of the movie, they end up being together. And I like the way the movie kind of ended as it was fading out and it was going through the park, and it finished on those 2 young kids, which was like the next generation of Dre and Sydney coming up. I thought that was quite interesting.
It was a nice touch. It was a nice touch, because that was how it began. Right at the beginning, it began with the 2 of them, like young and then now to adults, and then who's going to be the next, Dre and Sydney. Dre and Sydney, the next 2 lovebirds, talking about hip hop. Really, when you're talking about the guy straight, don't be using music to mask the something that you love.
Just say the guy's name and done.
Right, exactly that. So I thought that was a nice touch. I mean, they did really well in terms of the movie, like intertwining, like just how friendships develop, how it can develop, and things that you should do and you shouldn't hold back on saying or doing, and also highlighting the way the industry is a little bit like the music industry as well. So it was nicely done to base it around music and love. So yeah.
Cool. So as we come to the end of this podcast, then ratings out of 10.
Oh, this is the hard part. Oh my gosh. Oh. So I would give it a 7.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah. I would give it a 7, because it was nicely done. It was very well. I just love the way they wove the story into again, hip hop and Dre. Dre was always hip hop all the time. That was what it was. I just love the way they interwove it. I love how they showed how the friendship grew. The unspoken rules, the elephant in the room, and just the awkwardness of black relationship. And it wasn't, and what was really nice about it is that it wasn't a relationship where it was toxic. It wasn't a toxic relationship that you often see sometimes. It was nice, it was pleasant, and it was like, there are relationships like this with black people.
Yes.
But let's celebrate that. Let's do that. Do you know what I mean? So definitely a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, I think I concur with that. 7 out of 10. So there you go, guys. It's a 7 out of 10 for me and Lady T for this movie. T, thanks for coming in and talking about this movie with me, man.
Listen, it was an absolute pleasure. I loved it. Thank you for having me. And hopefully we might get to do this again.
Definitely. It was definitely fun. And guys, that's it for this episode of the Black Ones podcast. Remember to hit that follow or subscribe buttons on iTunes and Spotify, as I said at the beginning, to get notifications about new episodes, news drops. And don't forget, you can also follow on Instagram and YouTube. Just search Black Ones Podcast or Black Ones Pod for all the latest. This is DJ Marx alongside my guest, Lady T. We're signing out.